Well, friends, today we're exploring the Idea Marine 100 together, a boat with an overall length of 10.20 meters and a beam of 3 meters. We'll now take a walk on board to explore the layout, but as always, remember to like this video and leave a comment with your thoughts. Let's check it out together. At the stern, there are two platforms added to the hull, separate from the engines. The engines have a minimum power output of 250 horsepower, while the maximum power output reaches up to 400 horsepower each. Notice how the port platform houses the boarding ladder, a retractable boarding ladder, and most importantly, it's already equipped with handles, making it easier to exit the water, while also leaving the deck free of obstacles, making access aboard extremely easy. The mooring cleat is located directly on the deck, but it's positioned so it doesn't get in the way, allowing us to freely walk around the stern area and get directly on board. Furthermore, the engine compartment is partially covered by this platform. This platform is also removable, allowing us to walk from one side to the other and thus enjoy both stern areas completely independently of each other. A ladder can also be installed into the contralateral platform. Down below, there's the shower for rinsing off the stern area, while on the other side, there's a battery charging socket, allowing us to simultaneously use all the appliances just as if we were at home, because it also provides 220 volts power. So, we enter the boat. There's a symmetrical access via a corridor, so here too. It's very easy since there are no obstacles or changes in level. On the deck, there's this little gate that serves to isolate the area and therefore provide greater protection. This allows us to freely access the interior. And look here, the aft layout allows for the creation of a truly top-notch convivial area, as we have a double sofa facing each other, front to front, with a central table that we can adjust according to our needs. Not only can it be folded to allow for greater movement in the aft area, but we also have countless configurations. It can be customized upon request. For example, we can have a real U-shaped sofa, sacrificing only the side entrance corridor, or add an additional L-shaped sofa because, as I was saying, each user can choose their preferred configuration. Furthermore, the aft sofa can be raised using a convenient handle to access all the onboard systems, including the battery, bilge pump, and everything needed for routine electrical maintenance. In this layout, the backrest of the front sofa can be moved aft to provide two forward-facing seats. As I mentioned, each user can choose their preferred configuration, since we can also lower the table bases and add an additional cushion to create a single, truly incredible, and above all, well-protected sun deck. Speaking of protection, here's the height of the bulwarks. Look, it reaches up to my side, so we're always well protected, and thanks to the optional EVA covering, we can easily walk anywhere on the boat without any kind of problem about grip. But above all, notice the presence of the covering on the bulwarks as well. We can optionally request the bulwarks to open, thus having two incredible terraces, but we can also choose to have just one, depending on our needs, or not have one at all, thus remaining well protected here inside the cockpit. We also note the presence of the hinges here that allow us to open the lower hatch, thus accessing the maintenance of the tanks installed below the deck. Therefore, any system is easily accessible since below this are the batteries, bilge pump systems, and of course, additional storage space for less frequently used items. Speaking of storage, there's also an additional locker beneath the front sofa, in addition to the hatches installed here, in this central fiberglass block, which serves not only as seating but also as an outdoor kitchen. Lifting the hatch reveals access to the sink on the port side and a central cutting board. It's an induction hob, but we can install any type upon request since the shipyard leaves plenty of room for customization. Or we can rely on the dealer network for customization. A refrigerator is also located below, while on the sides there are two more shelves for storage, as well as the possibility of inspecting the refrigerator motor itself for any maintenance. Moving further toward the bow, I'll show you the first speaker with the switch for controlling the bulwarks. Look here, it's very simple. Just press a button and the bulwarks can open and close without any problems, completely autonomously. Next to it is the fuel tank filler cap, while on the side wall is the freshwater filler cap. Now we move to the helm station. Here too I can show you the T-top uprights directly on the gunwale. T-top is also very generous and most importantly features LED strip lighting for brightness in any conditions, as well as obviously providing greater protection for the captain. And look at the helm station. It has two independent seats with dedicated bolsters, so each user and owner can choose their preferred configuration, allowing me to sit comfortably at the helm with my feet on the structural step at the bottom. I see that the helm itself is easily reachable in front of me, but above all, look at the dashboard, which allows me to keep everything under control without having to take my eyes off the navigation, as visibility is truly optimal. There's only the centrally located strut, but we actually have 360-degree visibility, and especially in the stern area. We can have full control of everything around us, making it excellent even when docked, completely autonomous. There's plenty of storage space. Here, there's a first pocket with a USB port for charging your smartphone and keeping it well protected, even while underway, but there is also an additional recess positioned above here that serves as a pocket emptier, allowing you to keep everything quickly within reach on the helm. Of course, the instrument configuration is also customizable upon request. Here, we find the trim tabs, an ultra-wide Garmin display with the stereo on the port side, while the on-off switches are arranged on multiple levels, but here too, the user can customize them as they prefer, precisely so they can manage the boat completely independently without having to look away, since they simply need to memorize the position of the instruments. In this area, there is also the possibility of providing support to a third person. The shipyard chose not to equip the cockpit with a third seat, but to use a comfortable backrest to create greater linearity and visual clarity, and above all, to avoid reducing visibility inside the cabin, and thus create a single visual continuity between the interior and exterior, but we will see that later when we get inside. We then arrive at the forward step, a symmetrical forward step, so we can choose either side to proceed to the bow area. I will show you this truly immense guardrail. Look here, it is very high and provides us with so much protection. There is a mooring cleat here precisely to facilitate all maneuvering conditions, but above all, this handle obtained from the steel profile that follows the entire perimeter of the windshield comes in handy, giving us so much safety, so we have a double point of strength to be able to climb twice as high step and access the forward step. Look here, the width is constant, so we can walk without any problems and thus reach the bow area. The bow area, as for Idea Marine tradition, is entirely covered with cushions, also at the highest levels for the category. Look at how much space there is in this forward area, with the shield made with the upholstery in the forward portion of the quarterdeck, providing support and acting not only as a chaise longue but also as a seat. Look at the horizontal surface, which is more than homogeneous, so we can literally sit and therefore comfortably relax in this forward area, which I repeat is truly incredible. At the forward end is the bow roller. It is made of fiberglass, also covered with EVA for maximum comfort when mooring from the bow. Above all, the step obtained at the junction of the guardrail comes in handy to facilitate all mooring conditions, with, of course, double cleats on both sides for all phases of mooring. Furthermore, beneath this hatch is access to the anchoring compartment. Obviously, we notice the windlass. It is not directly visible from the helm station, but the remote controller is here so a person can stand comfortably and observe the chain's movement. Alternatively, we could install a camera to monitor its movement and be able to intervene independently directly from the helm station. But now let us return to the stern. I will show you the counterlateral step forward to demonstrate the ease of movement on board. Notice the usefulness of the high guardrail support, and let us go inside. The cabin is accessed on the port side of the helm station through a sliding door. As we enter, we see 3 steps, and you can immediately see how wide they are. Most importantly, we can put our foot down without any problem because they take up the entire width of the entrance. On the left, we immediately notice the electrical panel for quick access to the tools and full control, while the refrigerator is located below. Entering, the steps obviously help reduce the height difference because there's a considerable depth, making for greater livability. On the left, there's plenty of cabinetry, shelves, and hatches for storing everything you need. Also note the windows, which let so much light into the interior, allowing us to manage the brightness and response thanks in part to the portholes. The living area is located forward. In this layout, the living area is equipped with plenty of cushions, creating a real double bed. However, since the cushion can be removed and raised, it can create a full-fledged interior lounge with a central table. We can also take advantage of the comfortable padding of the upholstery, which runs the entire perimeter of this area for even greater comfort. There's plenty of storage space here too, with hatches, cabinets, and various accessories to accommodate all your gear, in addition to the aforementioned bulwarks and portholes, which also offer adjustable light since we can install convenient curtains. I'll also show you the interior headroom. Look, it's truly incredible for this type of boat. The headroom is therefore fully exploitable. Even in the forward section, despite the cushion, I can easily move around in the entire main section, making for a truly incredible space. Meanwhile, the bathroom is in a separate cabin. It's installed on the starboard side. Upon entering, we immediately notice the sink positioned along the bulwark with its glass window and porthole, also here to circulate air and minimize humidity. Drawers, hatches, and cabinets for storing all your items. And we also notice the 220 V-socket, so you can use a hairdryer in this private area of the boat. Towards the stern, however, is the shower cabin, separate shower cabin, you see, with a dedicated space since there's this folding door that can literally be closed. So we have two actual dedicated spaces here inside the bathroom with the toilet installed aft along the bulwark. Of course, upon request, we can also have an upper panel installed to create a comfortable seat or additional support for object. But in this setup, we note the presence of a shower with a shower head, so you can shower just as if you were at home. And here I'll also show you the internal headroom, perfectly usable and livable, since it is exactly identical to the rest of the main cabin. But now let's return to the stern and show you here through this door the entrance to the master cabin. The master cabin, therefore, is positioned aft, exactly like on a large boat, since the shipyard has chosen to isolate the spaces. Immediately at the entrance, along the starboard bulwark, there is a comfortable sofa with a wall cabinet above. But look at the incredible height in this first area, since there's an additional step, precisely to give greater depth to the space, while then it lowers because we are below the decking level. But look, when I'm sitting, I can almost completely sit upright in this first section. Then, of course, it lowers, but look at how much space there is, since the ceiling is perfectly level, so we have no difficulty relaxing on board. So, the layout features a double bed installed here that takes up the entire interior width, with additional cabinets on the sides, storage pockets where you can store practically anything. And here too we note the presence of the glass window with one porthole, while the other is located inside the side wall. So, we have a 10-meter boat with two perfectly independent spaces, a bathroom in a separate cabin. In this way, the shipyard has chosen to differentiate the intended uses, so we can fully enjoy this first area, exactly as if it were an internal living room, and if necessary, equip it with the possibility of converting it into a bed, as in this case. However, the master cabin is completely separated from the rest of the space, so we can perfectly enjoy the boat, not only for daily outings, but also for long cruises for 4 people. And so, dear friends, this is the Idea Marine 100. As always, if you enjoyed the video, I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. Leave a like and tag people you think might be interested. And as always, for all the future videos, see you here on the C Team.